checking out Comic Hall Crew.
Good evening, folks. Evening. This is the Comic Hall Crew back with another episode of the Comic Hall Crew. I don't know why I repeated that more than one time, but I did. With me tonight is Sean, aka Puff Comics 83. Right below us is Chris, aka Sith 2814.2. And we are live. As you can see, someone is missing that normally is on the helm, but he is overseas. And he's fighting Blanca from Street Fighter and eating all kinds of good food and whatnot. Shout out to Matt Odom. So he may or may not be on tonight. If he's not on, I don't blame him because he's chilling. He over in Fantasy Island, y'all. I mean, he over there rubbing his feet, you know, walking through the sand, playing Howard Hewitt, Show Me, you know.
He probably getting a foot massage,
right,
man.
Ooh, he might be getting elbows massage. We don't even know.
Right.
Get the whole
We don't even know. But gentlemen, how are y'all this evening? How's everything going?
Doing great, man.
Doing pretty good.
To go to Daytona Beach Comic Con, had a great time with the fellas. And there's something that we're gonna start off with that's already you must be out your damn mind.
Oh, and we got a doozy for y'all. So we're gonna start it off. We weren't gonna start off with this, but since Sean mentioned it, it's like, yeah, because he actually shared it in one of our in our group chat earlier. And we looking at this like, man, this is crazy. So we decided to go ahead and put it on the segment. So we're gonna get that done. Barbarian, it's good to see you.
Heroes After Dark, man. Met them, hang out
What's
with those
good, Heroes
brothers
After Dark?
at Daytona Beach Comic Con. Awesome brothers, man. Great to hang out with them. So shout out to them, man. And they're gonna see this, what we about
That's
to talk
what's
about.
up. Yeah, and he gave y'all a good report, Heroes After Dark. So if Sean co-signed you good in my book. It ain't like I'm nobody, but you know, he's still if you good with Sean, you good with me. You know, but if a brother ain't good with Sean and I see him, I'm gonna have to put him in a spinning power driver, level 3.
What up, Chad?
Chad, what's going on, man? Long time no see. Glad that you are in the building. Chris, what's going on with you, man? Everything good?
Yeah, man. Just been going through the motions, man, day in and day out. You know, waiting on this new job to start.
Okay. All right, man. Well, I hope you make about $98,000 a year, bro. I'm just putting it out there. I don't know how much you make. I ain't trying to pocket watch it. I'm just saying, I hope you make $98,000.
Why you short him too, man? It should be a full $100,000. Don't short him like that. Don't short him like that.
My bad. Well, in that case, I hope you make $104,000. So I'm gonna give you an extra
put it over there a little bit.
$6,000. Yeah, man. Yeah, Puff is a cool cat, man. I'm telling you, you meet up with him and you get to know him, man. He's a good dude. So, you know,
yeah.
I ain't never met Puff personally. We just correspond via. Although that's about to change.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Sean.
And it's awesome to link up with new people. Even though I've known Comic Book Champ and a few of them for a good while on Instagram, but to finally meet up with these guys and just to hang out and talk a lot, it was awesome. You know, and they're doing some great things on YouTube, man. Definitely sub up Heroes After Dark.
Heroes After Dark. Okay, we got to put them in the chat. The Dope Comics is good to see you, my man. Thank you for showing up in the building. So without further ado, we're finna get some stuff started, man. One of our most popular segments that we have here. We're about to get this thing together, and it's time for...
You must be out of your goddamn mind.
But my prices are reasonable. What?
Oh, there they go. There.
We're going to start with a picture that Sean posted in our group chat earlier today. And I don't know if y'all see this little sticky note on this cool pack. I want to show the whole picture, but then I want to go ahead and show y'all. I'm going to blow this up in just a second. But before I do, let's get some ambiance started. I'm going to get a little music going here, folks. So hold on a quick second. All right.
Ridiculous.
It is ridiculous.
I saw that.
Right.
And I'm like, are they really selling this? And it made me want to ask them. I'm like, are there like legit cigarettes in there? Because they put something on the sticky note, and I'm like, man, I want to open that sucker up and see if there's a full pack of cigs in there. Because this is outrageous for them to be selling old ass cigarettes.
Yeah, everything in this case looked decrepit, like for real. But I'm about to blow this up right quick so everybody that's watching can see this. This says very rare. I don't know what the 4 nines mean. Maybe it's the potency of the tobacco. I don't know. Over 9,000. But very rare Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corp. Which, by the way, they had a Brown and Williamson plant in my hometown, making which is no longer, in effect. Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corp. Cased 3-pack sampler, pre-Surgeon General warning, unopened. $75 for all 3 packs of cigarettes. Now, pre-Surgeon General mean that when they were making these cigarettes, they just didn't kill. You died, you like regular. If you die, you die. Like it's a wrap.
Those cigarettes from those old episodes of like St. Elsewhere when the doctor would light a cigarette in the patient's room and tell him he got cancer.
Hey man, these some Casablanca cigarettes, bro. These are cigarettes. These are black and white. The Viceroy and the Rally.
Man,
These some black and white cigarettes right here. Hey man, now this one that teach me fellow, Chad. Barbarian, this was at the con that Sean went to down in Daytona today.
But I can see why you would think this was Peachtree Peddlers, though. I can totally get that.
Yeah. Shout out to Matt. Headed to a party, a goddamn pack of squares. That's right, man. I think this is outdone you, man, in terms of the stuff that you find. I think Sean got you, bro. $75 for a 3-pack of old cigarettes, bro.
Man.
Daryl, Simply Incredible Podcast. Great to see you, bro.
You don't have a field day with this, man.
Right. Filter. That's right. What's a filter? I mean, they were pre-surgeon. They didn't kill. You smoke a couple packs of these cigarettes, man. You might as well just call the Undertaker.
Man. Smoke them in your coffin. Go ahead.
Just smoke these. Go ahead, Chris.
Just smoke it in the coffin. Just go ahead and just pack yourself in there and get ready.
Hey, you smoke these and you ride your wheel out at the same time, man. It's like, hey, man.
Hey,
I done gave up on life.
Gave up, man. You like, man, might as well smoke these old ass toxic cigarettes.
Right. It's like, just go ahead and get it out of the way, my man. So,
me and Steve looking at this, I'm like, is this real? Like, I ain't seen the Cool brand in like forever. It's still around, but I'm like, what the fuck? That should look old. You can just see the old stain of the 80s on that.
Yeah.
Them cigarettes were not kept in a smoke-free house.
Yep. And Cool,
they were not.
I've heard of Viceroy, I never heard of Rally. But I do know Cool was a brand that was actually marketed towards black folk.
Like Chris said, like where's Joe Camel at, man? If they would have had a pack of Joe Camel in there, I'd be like, oh.
Like you might as well have that. Because like let's just be real. During the time period when these cigarettes were made, there wasn't but 3 cigarettes that black people smoked. It was Cools, Camels, and Newports.
Newports, right? Right. Newport.
Like,
yeah.
Them cigarettes so old, man.
But you know that lends the question: where did they come from? I mean, these cigarettes are actually wrapped in the original wrap. So where did they come from?
Maybe he has a secret time machine. He went back in time or something.
Man, whatever. You know good and well he found them in the bottom drawer of his grandpa's bedroom after grandpa passed. And they were cleaning out his stuff.
Well, he probably bought some from a yard sale and they was like stuck in them, you know. Oh wow.
Barely.
Well, Barbarian, hey man, hey Chad, I'm glad you're still here, man, because
I'm telling you.
Let me stress this again, pre-Surgeon General warning. So before the Surgeon General telling you that cigarettes is bad for your health, it was no holds barred, baby. Like it was just, we're glad you're still here, sir. We're glad you're still here.
Hey, did he smoke all 3 brands in one day? Was he a chain smoker like that? Because Bro, if there's one thing I hated when I worked at appliance store where we deliver appliances, you ride with those dudes that do nothing but smoke. And I ain't no smoker, but yeah, I got to roll the window down because this dude can't help but puff one out.
You ride in the car with a chimney.
Oh,
I had an uncle like that, man. He was a chain smoker, and that dude, man, like, he would go through, how many cigarettes in a pack? Like 20? I don't know. He would go through at least half a pack, man, within an hour. Like, dude, what kind of problems do you have? Like that?
The stress is unimaginable at that level. Like, God, man.
I'm telling you, man, like, bruh, do you want to breathe? And
Nope.
I'm just like,
man, you trying to kill everybody in the room choking that shit.
do you want a hole in your throat? Like, hey, man, but yeah, needless to say,
Hey,
but barbarians. Good God, even children.
hey.
It was the Wild West when we were younger, man.
Yeah, because
Don't understand.
you had aunts and uncles that would send kids to the store just to get a pack.
But you know what though? Before everything got technologically advanced and before people really started caring, y'all remember them cigarette machines? They didn't have no ID checker or nothing.
Yeah.
Anybody could buy cigarettes out of them things though, for real.
My dad worked in a bowling alley that had one.
Yep. But it's amazing, man. Apparently there's a market out there for it. So more power to him, man.
So let's look at the bottom of what Chris called out in the group chat of this picture.
Man,
we're gonna dissect this photo. Let's look at the whole picture in terms of what's on top, what's on bottom.
Okay.
because them pool balls, golf balls, I don't even know what they are.
The pool ball.
I just know somebody out their mind asking $125 for them.
I'm like,
if anybody out there know what they are, let us know. Because I don't even know what those are. There's 10 of them. $125 a piece.
$125 for that little thing.
What's up, Shell?
What's up, Steph?
What's happening?
Hey, don't get caught, man.
for pool ball, $125.
I'm like, oh, you got these little ass things, these little balls. $125?
Man,
They should put a period. They should put a period in between the 1 and the 2.
Extra 25, you get you another 3 packs of cigarettes.
We have no idea, to be honest with you, Barbarian, because they look like pool balls. It might be candy. I don't know. Acro.
We don't need old ass candy in there.
Oof, $125.
If they got them cools from 1986 up top, I wouldn't put it past them.
Yeah. That is crazy, man.
Yeah.
That is a dangerous sugar rush. Some things look old. You don't want them to be candy.
Hey, man. They peddling 3 packs of cigarettes from the 70s and 80s for $75. Free Surgeon General warning.
But yet, those little balls are like $125.
$125. They might be 8 balls if y'all catch them a drill.
They'd be more than $125 at that point, though.
And then at the top, you have some figure that was like $30. And I'm like, that don't even look like a figure I want to pay $30 for.
Take it your own risk.
Man.
Monster Warriors 8-man, hard to find, $30. It was probably hard to find because it's bootleg. Ain't never seen no Monster Warrior 8-man. Has anybody in the chat seen this action figure? Nope. I'm pretty sure you haven't.
Somebody know what that is?
Hey, there you go, Daryl. Send the 6 to get graded 9.8 going for 10 grand.
Oh, Lord. Watch.
Well, I wish I would see CGC grade some cigarettes, man. The world is coming. The world about to come to an end of that
now, man. Oh.
Hey, man, the day we see cigarettes getting graded by CGC, Armageddon just gonna instantly start. It ain't just gonna come out of nowhere.
It's gonna start when somebody light up one of those cigarettes, man.
Man. Them cigarettes are like they were rolling.
It'd be like another professor. What dude down to the he lighted up.
And he farted and he just tore everything up. He destroyed everything. Man, y'all want to talk about this some more? We gonna move on.
We can move because this. I imagine you got some other stuff, but them cigarettes is.
The cigarettes was the highlight of the whole photo.
Yeah, this right here, man, ain't nothing. I mean, it. One man's trash is another man's treasure, but no, I'm good. I can find plenty of other things to collect than old cigarettes.
Yeah.
But who knows, man? That pack of Cool might be worth about $20,000 nowadays. So
there better be a winning lottery ticket in there.
Yeah. Let's see. No, I don't have to stop the screen. Yes, I do. All right, so let's get to the meat and potatoes of what we came in for. Hold on a second. All right. So we're gonna start off this with what we were gonna start off with earlier. Well, before we got on these cigarettes. Now, this first entry into this segment is something that we showed on the show about 2 months ago. And guess what? It's still on eBay. New and rare Funko Pop Marvel Taskmaster. $499,999.
I'm pretty sure I got that pop. Like, it was at Walgreens. It ain't that rare. Post tripping.
They hold on.
He gonna keep holding too. He gonna keep holding too. Ain't nobody gonna pay that for the Taskmaster pop. It ain't that rare.
Shout out to Rico.
You're gonna have to take out the $4.99, $9.99, leave the period, and just have it 99 cents.
99 cents.
The audacity of hope. That's what he's holding on to. That audacity that he's gonna sell this pop for $500,000.
Jesus Christ. It's awful.
And you ask yourself something like,
all it takes is one.
Go ahead, Sean.
What do these sellers think when they come up with these crazy prices? Like, they try and throw the rare out there. They try and throw very hard to find. And then they come up with this ridiculous price. And then when you scroll down or when you actually look for the shit, you see them at decent prices elsewhere.
Yeah.
Yep. I don't know what's going on with this, but apparently they don't want us to see it because it's a shame to the listing above. So, yeah, that's ridiculous, man. But yeah, sell it, Daryl. Matter of fact, you one up him and sell yours for like $501,000. Get your couple extra $1,000.
Get your couple extra in there.
Right. All right. Next on the list.
What the? Oh, here we go again. Stan Lee signed.
And the certificate of offenses. All in one
Here we
photo.
go again. Stan Lee signed it.
Hey man, how many times have we said on this show, Stan Lee's signature ain't gonna be worth nothing over a period of time, man. I'm telling you, it is going to be worthless. And I hate to say it, I mean, because he contributed to comic books. You know, he made his mark, but $80,000.
Right. Nah, bro.
There's probably somebody out there with a Marvel pair of underwear signed by Stan Lee and putting it on eBay for that much, man. It's crazy.
When I saw this is what I actually thought, like real talk.
What the shit is this?
What shit is this?
Yes! More Dolomite clips. More Dolomite
80
clips.
You have to ask yourself, like, go ahead, Chris. Go ahead.
So is it 40 grand for the pop and 40 grand for Stan Lee's signature? Like, I'm trying to figure out the breakdown. Like, how does the math math?
And I'm with you, because when I when I saw this, I looked up the cost of that pop. Now the pop is a vaulted pop. Pop ain't no more than maybe $50-$60, if that. You could probably find it cheaper. So you factor in $60 because it's not, because they got, I mean, if you're familiar with Funko Pops, they got different variations of everything. So that's not the only Spider-Man pop that they have. That's not even the rarest pop. The rarest Spider-Man pop, from what I saw, was a metallic Spider-Man pop, right? So I'll give him $100 for that pop. So you mean tell me that Stan Lee's signature on that pop is worth $79,000?
Right. Like that. If I'm gonna spend $80,000 on any pops, it's gonna be some of the really rare ones, like the 3 Michael Jackson ones they put out, or the very first Master Chief one that was only available at a Blockbuster.
Ooh.
Yeah, that's actually one of the rarest pops. It's a number one Halo pop.
One lone Blockbuster.
Yeah, well, it was sold in Blockbusters, which is one of those things that I was just like, Funko's been around that long, but Funkos were around when Blockbuster was still a thing. Like, and there was a Funko Pop Master Chief that was sold at Blockbuster, and it's like one of the rarest ones ever because there are no more Blockbusters to be able to get one at. So those are the ones I'd spend $80,000 on easily, but not Spider-Man.
And the only thing that makes it rare is that it was signed by Stan Lee. The actual pop is not rare.
Stan Lee's signature that rare? I don't think it's that rare.
No, man, Stan Lee's signature is on everything, man. I'm pretty sure somebody got a box of cornflakes with his signature on it. I wouldn't put it past him.
Stan Lee Wheaties.
Hey, we ain't done yet. We ain't done. We got some more stuff. Now,
start your day with Excelsior.
Right. So what I did, let me just say this. This particular episode of You Must Be Out of Your Damn Mind actually goes outside of eBay, and y'all gonna see as we progress.
Well, we already started outside of eBay, so hey.
Well, yeah, you're right. So, but yeah, you're right. So let's get to the next one. And the reason why I pulled this one up is I was just comparing, because this is not the same pop, but it was signed by Tobey Maguire, and they want $2,100 for it. I think that's still too much, but just to compare,
so Spider-Man signed the pop,
and it's less than what this one is. Hey man,
that is.
I don't make the prices, so.
So Spider-Man signing the pop is cheaper than Stan Lee signing the pop. That is crazy.
Yep.
Like,
all right, next on the list.
It is Spider-Man, so we got to talk even more.
That's why it's $80,000. All right, next one is.
For real?
Not for resale.
Like I get that it's the first Beta Ray Bill. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not a huge Thor fan, so I thought Beta Ray Bill was older than 2006, but still, like,
this is a reprint, man.
Basically, that's what it is. It's a reprint.
That's what I thought, because I could have sworn Beta Ray Bill was older than.
Yeah, he created in the 80s.
Yeah.
Like Al said, not for resale, right at the bottom.
Like $400 for first appearance of a reprint of Beta Ray Bill
from 2006.
It's a 9.8.
He ain't even been in the movie.
Yep.
Like,
his face
was in
Ragnarok.
Man,
his image was in Ragnarok, but that's it.
That cameo, statue cameo.
Yep. $400 for a reprint, man. I don't get it.
I mean, maybe there's a Beta Ray Bill fan out there somewhere that's just like they can't get the real one, so they gonna splurge $400 on a reprint. I can't even say that with a straight face. I can't even.
The original shouldn't be that much. I mean,
$3.99. you might be able to get 3-4 mid grades for that price.
I'm just
Right.
trying to help somebody out, man. That's just I couldn't even finish that with a straight face because it sounds dumb even saying it out loud. Like, just this is ridiculous. Does he at least say that it's a reprint?
Yes, it is a
Exclusive
reprint.
figure?
It came with a Marvel Legends Beta Ray figure, Beta Ray build figure. They're notorious difficult to find, high grade due to the bendable packaging, very rare. Hey, still though, if I'm a Beta Ray build fan,
You want the
I'm
original.
not exactly.
You want the original.
I'm gonna want the original,
Exactly.
and I'll spend a couple extra $100 for a 9.8 if I really wanted that book.
See,
I'm not spending $400 for a facsimile.
D,
Now
the
do you-
only thing I like about the facsimiles is they're affordable and you can read them and just say, hey, at least I got a facsimile. It's a reprint. It's the idiots out there that want to sell them like they the original copy that fucks the whole thing up. Now you taking people, fooling other people, thinking that it's a first print when it's actually a facsimile. And they paying high dollars for a facsimile.
High
That's
dollars.
where they whole messes up.
Well, give it a few minutes because you're gonna see a facsimile on this list plus another Stanley signature.
Oh no.
We gonna get to it eventually. So, yeah, all right. The next one. I have no idea, man. They say it's hard to find.
How?
But that's what the HTF mean.
That issue, I've seen that issue a lot of times, many times. Hard to find. Jesus Christ. I hate when people just use the word rare or hard to find for something that you can find anywhere. Impossible
hard.
black cover. Very rare.
The only thing I give them is that it being that it's a black cover at a 9.8, that's a plus for the book. But what I don't get is that you say Venom Rare Disney MCU, like we say they do. I don't. Where did you see this book was going to be adapted into an MCU movie?
Anything, right?
I'm telling you, man. If it ain't Stan Lee's signature, man, it's the MCU.
People just they walling out. They walling out, man. They walling out.
It's not a hard to find book.
Nah.
And there's probably a couple of 9.8s of that book, and they're not high value, but still, it's not a hard to find book. Get that shit out of here.
And it's not a key. So
Yeah, they throw Venom's name on there just like Venom been out. He already had 2 movies. What the fuck you trying to sell for?
working on the
What-
third one.
Venom's name.
Right.
Yep. That's
Like,
what we looking at now,
adding
man. When it
Venom,
comes,
adding Venom to a title of a Spider-Man book is just like saying water is wet. Like it's obvious. Like yes, Spider-Man and Venom, they go hand in hand. It's not surprising. What are you attempting to do here? Stop trying to reinvent the wheel.
I don't know, man.
It's ridiculous.
All I know is that I don't see a reasonable Spider-Man fans buying this. Cause like when I looked it up to see if it was, I mean, it's not a key. It's just this book. That's it. That's a lot of money, man, for a book that you trying to peddle as an MCU Venom book. Nope. All right, next one.
Oh boy, did we see this book last week?
I don't think so, but if we did, I don't remember.
It's just because Channing Tatum's supposed to be Gambit in the next Deadpool movie.
Probably.
This is another book I saw I think Comic Den had it for like $5.
It ain't a key. I mean, the only thing that this book is pretty much known for is the cover.
Yeah.
Because I think Andy Kubert did the cover.
Yeah.
It's not a key either.
Right.
But, they see that 9.8 and they think, oh, that's high value.
But look at the title. Look at the title.
I know. I see the title. But they trying to throw the title with the 9.8.
Yep.
Combine the two, man.
Chris, what you got, man? What's on your mind, man?
It's interesting to see these just outrageous prices for things that are not huge. Like, we're going to be talking about keys in the main topic tonight, and it just, I was actually reading a Batman Urban Legends trade paperback, and they referenced Detective Comics 475, the first appearance of the Joker fish. Only appearance, really. But it's been adapted into so much Batman mythos. And I was just like, you know what? I actually would like to own that copy. So I went looking for it on eBay. And that is a comic I expected because it's been in the animated movies. It's been in so many comics. It's been referenced so much. Like, I figured it would be really expensive to snag a copy. And I found like a 7.5 on eBay for like $30. Like... And that to me is a more important comic book than just Gambit, classic Gambit and Rogue. Like, that's not, what does it matter? Like, because if you know comic books, you know that kiss don't really happen. It's just a cover syndrome thing. Like, so, yeah.
It's like being put in a coma.
Right. Then what good is he for the rest of the comic book? So what is the point? Like, it's not going to happen. So it's ridiculous. $400, $415 for a comic book that you can probably find without really too much work. Like, if you put in the work for it, it might take a little bit, but you can find it easily and way cheaper. Like, it's just...
Think to him. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I mean, I'm pretty sure you can probably find one ungraded way cheaper and then just send it off to get it graded, and you'll be just as good. On eBay, probably.
I think this is the kicker for some people. That right there. This crap right now. This book is that's a lie. This book ain't real.
Yes. No, it is not.
But that's how they build their wares to get people to buy them. So.
But that's what we talked about too, though, about people, the branding. CGC is that name that people look for when it comes to graded comic books, and people feel they can charge more just because it was graded by CGC. When there are other companies that grade just as well, but CGC is the brand that people know.
Who was it? Was it Tito that put in, like, he searched CBCS on eBay, and all he got was nothing but CGC? Hey, like that, you can't even put the other companies in because all you're going to get is CGC.
Mm-hmm. That's the world we live in, the comic book realm, folks. Next up,
there is so much going on in that title.
He thinking too hard. That's why.
there's so. It's like he was typing in stuff, and he was just like, "What else could I possibly fit on here?"
There's that word again, rare.
To get people to want to buy this. Like,
the key word is rare.
MCU, Marvel, MCU movie, Disney. When is Disney?
Is this the same seller?
It's the same seller.
Jesus Christ.
What, dude? Does Marvel and Disney even own Thundercats? Like, that's not.
Nope.
I don't even.
No.
So it's just like, and it's number 3. The first issue is a tad bit more rare.
I would think the one that's most sought after.
Yeah. Who the hell starts with number 3?
Sub Evolutionary.
Yo.
You're about right though. They are close to a monopoly. Yeah.
Very true.
Yeah. When I saw that, Chris, the sentiments were the same. Thundercats number 3, 9.8 CGC MCU movie, Disney 86, 85, Star Panther, That
What is-
title is all over the place.
What is Star
All
Panthro?
over the
Like,
place.
I don't remember the episode with Star Panthro in it.
Yo,
I don't remember
What's going on, crazy guy?
what's happening. I don't remember Star Panthro. That's just
Ryan, what's up? That you can make it, man. I mean, it's a lot of stuff going on with that, man. We good, bro. We good. We just here chilling, looking at these books, trying to figure out when Panthro gonna show up with War Machine. You know,
man. Tony Stark gonna redesign the Thunder Tank.
he gonna be in the next Captain America movie, man.
hey, that will be a sight. The Thundercats showing up in these movies, but
You know, it's gonna be
that'll break the earth.
hey,
bro,
bring in Black Knight so we could have Black Knight versus Lionel.
No, it's gotta be Black Panther and the Thundercats. If they don't have a crossover movie together in the MCU, it ain't gonna work. They gotta be.
Hey,
they gotta come out of Wakanda.
Want that because Black Panther gonna bag T'Challa, man.
Man,
Sure.
I don't know.
Thanks for stopping by, crazy guy.
Uh,
And these titles, bro, I'm telling you, man, they these sellers will do whatever they can, man, to lure. And it's got to be people that don't have a clue or not educated or not seasoned in the collection game to be like, I could look at this title and say, no, dog, I'm paying you almost $400 for a 9.8 of number 3 of a Thundercats book, and Thundercat and Panthro kicking somebody in the throat. No.
what y'all?
Yeah, apparently. Somehow he got lost and got to space some kind of way. But
Hey, man, somebody played that Milo the Cat video with Panthro rapping.
By all intents and purposes, Brian, we might see it because this seller apparently knows something that we don't know.
Hey, so do.
Man,
Crazy, man. All right, next one. I do like that they use that fake backdrop in the back, but that book is not rare.
this might have been moved. You might have been able to move this if you'd have sold it when Sean Connery passed.
Yo,
But-
Al, you went through this whole guy's page. We exposing him.
Man, I'm telling you,
Because
this guy-
this work.
This is ridiculous, man.
dude, it was just one hit after another hit, just one hit after another hit. Now I do got some other sellers on here, but yeah, it was just too much. I was like, Jesus, like who is this dude?
Yeah,
Yo, where he from? Go.
Let's see.
you want to talk about putting in work for a hustle? He out there hustling. Like he just like, let's see what we can just throw out there and see what happens. Let's make it work.
Where you find out where he's from?
Oh, you go back to the
about.
main. We know that. Go back to the page where you had the book and scroll down. Scroll down. Just scroll down.
He in Illinois.
What drugs are they taking up there, man?
Wendy C got him all kinds of twisted.
I mean, come on, man.
Hey, he probably got a hold of them cigarettes from the Daytona convention, man.
He done lost his mind.
The thing turned into methamphetamines. $1,000, bro.
For Indiana Jones comic.
Ain't signed by nobody.
And it's another number 3.
Number 3.
He just went to the Goodwill and just bought a box of comic books and was just like, let's see what happened.
And when
That's
it came back
like.
9.8, go ahead, Chris.
That's what I feel like. And you're right. He came back 9.8 and he was like, well, this is money in the bank.
Jackpot. Exactly. That's what he did. Everything. 9.8 jackpot. Man,
I think he just copy and paste that 9.8 rare, hard to find Disney 89 movie. He just copy and paste it and just reuses it.
He just got posted.
And I want to say that Indiana Jones is not a Disney property, is it?
Nope.
I don't believe it is.
I don't think so. No, well, Disney be owning everything. So.
Yeah, they do.
This is crazy.
Well, next one.
Oh boy, walk in sleep.
Mm,
7,500.
ain't the
Oh,
days of
Scott
cash
McDonald?
ain't on this show?
With Stan Lee?
Oh God. Oh man.
So Stan Lee signed the back of it.
Yep.
Ooh.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable.
Why would you get Stan to sign the like?
Not even Robert Kirkman. You get Stan Lee.
Because a lot of these folks think Stan Lee equals his signature equates to printed money. That's why. I told y'all, man, it's gonna
They
get.
had that man sign everything. You could walk up to Stan Lee with a roll of toilet paper and he will sign.
So BC, I'm pretty sure I'm somebody out there got it.
Right.
Sign.
So Disney don't
It's like
own it.
Spaceballs. Stan Lee the toilet paper.
Hey, don't Disney own Lucasfilms though?
Oh,
Yeah.
never mind. Still, though, that book ain't worth $1,000.
Not even close.
Especially
Yep.
that.
$7,500. But this is the crazy part. I don't understand what makes this book worth $7,500 just because Scotty Young drew it, signed it, and then Stanley signed it on the back.
Your guess is
And
good as mine.
you know,
They just
just
trying to find the sucker.
basically. And I noticed it probably won't show, but there were a ton of like variants, like this, different artists, and they had crazy money prices too. But this was probably the most. Well, actually, it's another one on here that's really egregious too. It might be after this one, but yeah, that's what we see on eBay nowadays, folks. All right, there you go, Sean.
Oh man. True Believers, baby.
Now, True Believers, when these books first came out, they were like $1, if I'm not mistaken.
Yep.
So you mean to tell me this has got True Believers emblazoned on the top? This was $1 book when they
Probably
first
get
came
Stanley
out.
to sign it. That was for
Right.
$2,500.
$2,500.
Just because of that Stanley. It's crazy.
Hey man, his signature ain't gonna be worth
Hey.
nothing in the next 5 to 10 years. I'm telling you.
Not a thing.
Yeah, he helped. He co-created Spider-Man with, was it Ditko?
Think
Yeah.
so, yeah.
But a True Believers $1 book. Stanley signature. $2,500.
Think about that. You
Think
can
about it. I mean, for real, think about it.
you can use that money to add to more money and get the OG Amazing Fence, a low grade.
A low grade without Stanley's signature, and you have a piece of history as opposed to a facsimile with Stanley's signature on it. I'm telling you, you folks are crazy. They are crazy. All right, next up.
Everything. This
Um,
dude's trying to do a wholesale.
Unless there's meth in that bobblehead.
It is. There is meth in the bobblehead.
And obviously he been smoking.
What the shit is this?
Like, what?
What is it, y'all? You're like, really? What is?
What is really going on in the world today?
I look these. Well, see, I look these. For one, there's no signatures of any of the cast members on these bobbleheads.
Nope.
The average price for these bobbleheads range from like 25 to maybe $32. So if you add up, just give it $32 for each bobblehead. And that Breaking Bad book is probably the most expensive because it was limited to 500. But I saw one on eBay. It was a 9.8 going for like $350.
I got something for this, Al. I got something for this.
What you got?
Shit.
That's exactly what it is. Shit.
Crazy, man. What's up, Jace? Hey, man, they out there, bro. They out there in droves. But there's nothing in this picture that actually warrants this $4,500 price tag.
Not even a little bit.
We're here. So I don't get it, folks.
We'll never get it. We will never get it.
Like, yeah.
All we can do is look at this, react to it, laugh at it, and move on. Because we're not the suckers that's gonna pay for this.
And trust and believe, folks, we're grateful for these folks because it gives us content.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The most genius thing the Comic Call crew came up with is going over these eBay prices. We the only ones that do it. This is exclusive to us. We the only ones that go on eBay and just expose these guys for their outrageous prices.
Outrageous.
All we can ask that you don't fall for the banana in the tailpipe.
That's it. Snake oil, the opiate dope, the whole nine.
All right,
moving on.
You got the presentation though, man. Where's Rico when we need him? Because the presentation is so scatterbrained. Like, let me just take a picture of these random ass dollar comics and put it on eBay.
It's like he just dropped the box and was like, you know what, that worked.
Hey, we even see his kneecap in the picture, man.
But check out the description of what he said, which I call shenanigans on. He says, I have over 500 comic books dating from the 60s to 90s. There's a wide variety of characters to choose from. All comics are in good condition. Some are great. All have flip plastic sleeves on. No boards. Now, look at this. Do you see any books? If you think, now, okay, so let me just say this. If he had books from the 60s, wouldn't you think that he would actually show those books?
I think he only got maybe one book from the 60s and
Baby.
all of that shit from the 90s.
This fool got blood strike.
Come on, man.
Like, yeah, like
Come on, man.
400 books.
plus $10 shipping for a bunch of Jess.
Bunch of oddities.
50 cent fodder, basically.
Oh, this is everything I saw on the 25-cent bin at the con today.
Yeah.
And those bins were jam-packed. It was like, bro, I can't barely pull these books out because it's stuffed with so much 90s dress.
Like, that's Green Lantern, Emerald Dawn, the Hulk.
Quasar. Hey, man, he might have the whole run of Super Pro in there.
I guarantee there's a copy of DuckTales #1 in there.
But I mean, and you're right, Sean. I wish Rico was on the show because the presentation, like he's showing his left knee, and it's like you sit here telling us that you got books from the 1960s, but I don't see nothing.
I don't see it.
Not a one.
Not one.
You could at least list something and tell us, give us a few ideas of what you got in there that's from the 60s, but
Nothing. What he planning on? He planning on finding a sucker. He gonna pack all this stuff up in a Sam's box and he gonna ship it to you, and you gonna be mad when you get it.
Yeah, you're gonna crack it open and be like, "Where my '60s comic at?
Right.
Where my DuckTales #1?"
I ain't even seen the '70s comics just based on what he showed.
When blood strikes is the first thing you notice, you know that's
The
Off to a
first
bad
thing.
start.
bad stuff.
Yep. Beat up Bill, Uncle Scrooge. Yep.
Horrible start to that sale.
Insane.
But somebody gonna
In the
look at that and be
memory.
like, "Oh man, that's a gold mine waiting for me right there. Send that off and get all my
34.61.
9.8s."
Right. And you get it with the PayPal credit plan for 12 months.
That's a long time to be paying for some bullshit.
Mm-hmm.
Here we go, y'all.
No sir.
His head looked disproportionate to the drawing.
Why you zoom on it?
When I saw that, I'm like, man, his head too big. No disrespect to Stan Lee, but whoever drew this, man, it just don't look right. These claws look different from these. They look shorter than the ones on the right hand. Man,
It's horrible.
Stan Lee ain't never been that buff. That looked like a bad. I mean, it's drawn, but it looks like a bad Photoshop job. Like it's just, like they just boop, boop, like.
Oh,
Forehead that big. You see why Stan Lee had all those ideas to create comic
well,
book characters.
$15 is too much.
$75 for Stan Lee cosplaying as Wolverine. What do you got? Like
Yeah,
8 abs
that's
down
it.
there? Like what is going on with the?
Yeah, he got an 8-pack.
Like, what's going?
Even Wolverine wasn't that ripped.
A lot of
That
folk think
could
Stan
get
Lee-
no worse unless they had him right on the Excelsior, bub.
Yeah.
That's the only way that could get worse. Like,
Like I said, man, folks equate Stan Lee to print money. They think Stan Lee is just going to open up the floodgates of wealth and prosperity, and that signature is good as platinum or uranium.
Stan Lee's
You got a few
signature at
more.
this point is like the Beanie Baby of the 90s. People just assuming it's gonna bank them money.
Yep. And it's sad, man, because his legacy is worth more than what people have actually relegated it to.
Yep.
So sad.
Yo, another Stan Lee sake. Like you said, man, Stan Lee's signatures is like a running gag on this show.
Yep.
A running joke.
It's a meme.
I mean,
That one
at
watch.
this point,
Good.
yeah. At this point, I'm more surprised when his signature isn't on a comic book than I am when I do see it.
Yeah. Because it's almost common now.
Yeah,
Yep.
it's just as common as seeing MCU or near mint. Like
Oh, rare.
mm-hmm. I paid $200 for that comic book.
I paid even less.
Good evening, Richard.
What up, Richard?
Glad you're doing
What's
the same.
happening?
Yep. It's the good old Stan Lee signature. Not Stan Lee, but his signature. All right.
Put Stan out there.
We can just run through these.
Yeah.
We gonna regurgitate the same nonsense.
Yeah. Good Lord. Oh, what the hell?
Look at the shirts. Bro couldn't fully iron that shit.
Oh.
Bro, man.
He can hide it, man.
Presentation matters. Why that long ass creases in there
Man.
sticking out like a sore thumb? Jesus.
Like,
Straighten that shit out, man.
It's got ink stains in it.
Marvel,
And the
DC,
collar
Silver
trade.
Surfer. That shirt
I
doesn't seem some
understand.
things.
Yeah, I mean, I understand there's a market out there for these type of shirts, but man, really?
I ain't trying to buy no used shirt.
Buy a used shirt. I ain't got to go that far. There's a Goodwill up the street.
Exactly. Send them shirts to the Salvation Army.
Send them somewhere. Send them to the back of your closet and just leave them there. Let your kids wear them or something.
And the only reason why they use rare nowadays is because most of these shirts been worn the hell up. And most of them are probably in somebody's city don't. And they just so happen to have one from back then. I don't see this shirt being a sought after shirt, but again, I mean, it's a market out there for everything, but I just don't think I would get into this because this is ridiculous. I'm not gonna wear another shirt that somebody else wore. I don't care how many times you washed it. But here's what it is. Next.
I remember this shirt.
Me too. Shirt looked like it's stained with the ghosts of fanboys past. Nobody.
9,500. Who is willing to pay $9,500 for a fucking shirt?
I'm really, 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 really big Ghost Rider fan.
Bro, I'm a big Ghost Rider fan. I would not even think of trying to pay for this shit.
That shirt looked like Ghost Rider used it as a sweat rag.
You can get, with that money, you can get the entirety of Ghost Rider's first appearance, his Marvel Spotlight, the entire run from 1 to 81, and probably the first run of the Danny Cat series. And even then, it comes off cheaper than this.
Way cheaper.
No.
I think I got Danny's #1 for $20. His first appearance of Ghost Rider for $20. Like, yeah, way cheaper. Oh, there it is. That's what we didn't know.
Stan Lee made it.
Stan Lee's signature on the tag.
Stan Lee did it to show himself.
He drew
He
out
uses-
everything.
He used his Wolverine claws to knit it. He just
God, this is crazy.
I mean, it's good artwork, but it ain't worth $9,500 just for a Ghost Rider T-shirt that they don't make no more.
If I'm not mistaken, that was like a poster in the book. That whole picture.
Yeah,
That was a poster in the book. Come on, man.
look at man, it's 2023. If you know somebody with a Cricut machine, you can get them to just make you this shirt. Just call it a day.
Yeah, you ain't got to spend that. Nope.
There's so many more worthwhile comic book things.
Oh my god, that shit is faded. Faded. What was that song? Never faded. This shit faded.
What the hell?
Bro, that shit been in the wash machine too many times.
That shirt is paler than my brother-in-law. What the hell?
He went 300 for it.
What is? How,
On the own thing. Shout out to
man,
BT.
Stain, boy.
Right there.
Out there hunting down Sabretooth.
Hey, it's a small shirt. You say you can buy this for your little kid. Nah.
I like my kid too much.
Yeah. You don't want him wearing this nonsense.
Man, that shirt is faded. Like, was it hanging up in the front of a comic book shop? Like at the window? That was never mind. That is. What am I white and get down in your brown tee? Ain't even off white no more. That is just. Where was it? Like, was it in the back of a sock drawer? Couldn't I, like Sean said, you couldn't have ironed it? Like,
This side is dingier than this side.
side he drove with, so the arm was hanging out the window, so it got more.
This is what we see on eBay, though.
That is
The audacity.
Wolverine is like he wants to be put out of his misery with the.
he trying to get off that shirt. Right, he trying to get off that shirt hard.
Size small. It looks longer than the small.
Man,
They done stretched that out with their knees.
and then stretch it out just like their imagination.
I think the next one might be the same shirt. Hold on, let me see. Nope.
Oh Lord. Wait, is that Sabretooth? Like, what is?
Nah, it's Weapon X. It's Wolverine.
Is that's Wolverine? Like,
Yo, I ain't never seen that person on Weapon
me
X.
neither. Like, what is? What is?
Yo, it's like the helmet he had on melted on his head, and it's like that's
Look
some
at the
hard
eye.
stuff right there.
The
The
eye.
eye got arms of its own. What the fuck?
Look at
It's
that.
just
liquid blue?
yeah. They can get this shit out of here.
What is? We sure there's a Marvel show? Because the only robot Wolverine I know is Albert.
Yeah, that's why I'm like Albert. I don't remember Albert having this.
Man, they even put a spine on the back of it too. Like, oh, like,
I don't remember Albert having his own shirt. And ain't
Right.
nobody's looking for Albert.
none.
Yeah, they can burn that shit. Look. Burn.
Set it on, just go ahead and just set that on fire.
Burn it with those old 1980s cigarettes. You know.
Won't
With
take
the
much.
Viceroys.
Right. Light a Viceroy and flick it right on there.
Yep.
The audacity of hope.
God, the shirts won't stop. $8,300.
I'm assuming that stands for
God,
not
the
worn
yellow
original
stain on that
tag.
I guess new without tag.
New
That's a
without-
lie. It's I don't know, man. It
It's
look
right
clean,
there.
but still, man.
It do look clean. That's the cleanest shirt we done seen all night.
So just because it's clean does not mean
Oh, not
Oh,
even
yeah.
It's
close.
a new shirt. Yeah.
get that out of here. You got one more. One more. Nope. Skateboard superhero. You couldn't even name the hero, bro.
Right. It
Look.
says June 13th. Hulk? That's not single stitch DC Comics. There's
Oh, my.
so much going on.
If I'm not mistaken, that's grunge.
Yeah, his name is Grunge.
It's not the whole. $500 though.
Maybe he was thinking of Amadeus Choice since Grunge is Asian, so he figured he looked.
Tito.
What up, Tito?
What's happening? Hulk
Crazy.
90 single stitch DC comic.
I think we got one more after this one, I believe.
That's ridiculousness.
Yep.
Oh, the Jungle Book. VHS. Why is it not slab?
Right. Like if you at least slab it if you're gonna try to sell it to somebody.
Look
That's
at
the
this,
least
though.
you could do.
Oh man, I remember these cases, man. When we used to get these VHSs of all the
Mhm.
Disney movies.
Oh, he even got the coupon still in it.
What?
Not
Say
the
30
coupon.
cents.
That thing's so expired. Not the coupon.
Coupon.
He got the mail away in there and everything. God. He wants
Oh
you to
my.
know you
You getting
But
all
that
this?
ain't, But check this out though. That ain't the kicker. This is what made me go outside of eBay, because I was actually trying to find out, are these VHS, are they really going for this? And surprisingly they are, but somebody on Etsy. Go ahead, Sean.
What does red black diamond mean though?
I think it's the
company.
Yeah. Let's go down here right quick.
If I'm not mistaken, Black Diamond was a distributor company that put out the Disney back then on VHS.
Yep. Black Diamond edition VHS number 1122. It is not a form of rental, belongs to the movies and TV category.
I don't know if it's a red collector's item.
Right, it's just a Jungle Book, which don't get me wrong, it was good, but
Be kind, one.
Right.
I like that
motto.
Yo. Plus, that was a good movie.
Streets.
Yeah, I like that.
What's up, Tito? Be safe, bro. But this is the kicker, though, and this is the very last one. This is what kind of threw me for a loop, because somebody on Etsy is trying to sell this for
I have nothing to say.
Well, they still stuck in the past, Tito, because it was a bunch of them out there, man, for $700, $800, $900. I'm like, geez, Louise, really?
Even then,
This one takes the cake. Say what now?
I wouldn't even want it. Like, I could care less about the black diamond. Shit. It could be black diamond, the blue diamond, red diamond. Don't matter what color the diamond is.
It could be the Hope diamond. I still wouldn't give a damn.
God.
Hey, rewind the video all the way, man.
All the way.
Yeah. Please be kind, rewind. That's right, DT, and they didn't do that. That, my friends, concludes another episode of You Must Be Out Your Damn Mind.
In that movie, run the VHS tapes over with the steamroller.
Yeah.
Yep, sure did. Crazy, man. It is crazy. So, but yep, see a whole bunch of crazy stuff on eBay all the time.
All the time.
But that's what we're here for, to expose the crap. All right, so without further ado, we're gonna go to our next segment. Cover price top 10. It looks like they changed their format up. So we're gonna start with number 10, and I have no idea what this book is. Let's see. The Devil's Cut. Do anyone of y'all know what this is?
Nope.
I got nothing.
Now wait a minute. I think I've seen those covers.
Because normally it'll tell you why it's on the list, huh?
Is this the one by Brian Azzarello?
I don't know. Let me see.
Your guess is as good as mine. I ain't even heard of it.
Because I did see a bunch of oversized magazines with that D on it at my shop. They even had one in my pull, and I was like, nah. It was like $10. I'm like,
No.
The writer on this one is Becky Cloonan and Elsa Charretier.
okay.
Merca Andolfo. She's the artist.
I did see her name on it, so maybe it is. I did see Merca's name on it.
Yeah, she does that sweet paprika. Oh no, you're right. Because Brian Azzarello, yeah, he's part of it, and James Tinian is too. It looks like they had like 4 different writers on the book.
Yeah, they had a bunch of them on the shelf, and my shop, they put them in my box, and maybe I might buy it, but I was like, man, it's $10, man. And I wasn't a fan of Merkel's Red Sonja run, so I'm like, nah, pass on this.
Yeah, so I'm not really sure why it's on the list.
Oh, it
But
came out recently, so I don't know.
all right.
They can't all be winners.
Number 9 is Amazing Spider-Man 32.
Yeah, like I said, it's a cool cover, but you'd rather get number 7.
Yeah. Number 8 is Star Wars Heir to the Empire, number 1.
It's wrong.
Mm-hmm.
And then Web of Spider-Man 32, the actual book, shows up on the list.
Yeah.
And Taylor Swift shows up on the list too.
Twice.
Shout out to Apollo wherever he is.
Right.
So Uncanny X-Men 130, first appearance of Thousand, and they still haven't said that she's part of the movie, but hey.
Still just rumored.
Right. Number 5, Star Wars Kanan. Number 6. I'm pretty sure Tito has all these books. He is a Star Wars fanatic. Star Wars Kanan number 1. I don't know if these two have anything to do with Ahsoka, which is pretty good, by the way.
Yeah, I'm behind by one episode.
There he is. There he is. He come up right on cue. Right on cue.
Tito said, careful with oversized D's on magazines. Now, there might be some stuff hidden in the covers. Hey, I have no idea. All I know is that it's the Taylor Swift show. Number 3 is Benoit's Illustrated Swimsuit Edition number 1. So I'm assuming this is a DC book.
Yeah. It's just their swimsuit book, like Marvel used to put out during the 90s, during the summer. They put out those, yeah.
I thought we may have gotten too politically correct to do those kind of things now.
Wait, so
I
Heir
thought
to
we
the
did
Empire
too.
is on here twice? That trade paperback?
Yep. One's a comic book, and I guess this one's the trade. Man, I don't know what the deal is with these lists, man. So we got Dazzler number 1.
Number 1.
Yeah.
Above the first appearance.
Above the first appearance. That's
Don't nobody know nothing. Everybody just don't nobody know nothing.
CBS top 10 list.
Damn, they're identical.
Almost honorable mention: Incredible Hulk 635 1/25 variant, Addy Gradoff. Popularity of the Hulk current run. Folks going back to old favorites. This Gradoff variant is down $234 in a 9.8 back in April. Now rebounded with an accepted best offer at $525. Man, no, I can't do it.
Not even.
Tito sells 2 Star Wars books of Rebel books. Okay. All right. Spawn 306. This was on the list last week, I think. Another 10 sold this week, ranging from $350 to $600 raw. Jesus. 9.8, $1,500. Number 10, Uncanny X-Men 141, 142. So these are on here because of Days of Future Past. It looks like they're
A
doing
story that
facsimile.
already was told.
Badly,
in the
but
movie.
still told.
Yeah. It's good to know they're coming out with facsimile because I'll snag them. Vampirella 9, Vampirella Monthly number 20.
Root 10 variant.
Root 10 variant. Okay. 9.8 sold at $495, less than 10 in the census. At that grade, need a raw sale for a couple hundred. Jeez Louise. Sonic the Hedgehog. Chase, I'll be happy with this. 1 in 25.
It's an IDW book.
Oh, okay.
He only cares about the Archie ones.
Gotcha. Prices this week hit $75.80, while the week before it was about $40, $50. Okay. Spotted Green Angle number 1, 1 in 100. Pre-sales and early asking prices have been closer to $200 on this book. Man, I can't see myself spending that kind of money on a modern book, man.
I saw a regular cover at one of the shops, and I was like, nah, I'm going to pay $3.99 on it.
Right.
It's a nice looking cover. But no, even if it is a 1 in 100, no, bro. The Killer number 1. Recent trailer reveals this Netflix adaptation will have a short theatrical release in October. So it's been optioned. Okay.
All it takes nowadays, isn't it? Next you know, books skyrocket. Hit the list.
That's right. Number 5, Kanan the Last Padawan. Number 1. This book has actually been on list for a while. Like it'll pop up and then it'll drop off. It'll pop up again and drop off. Raws consistently hit $40 to $50 with some cheaper copies here and there. But 9.8s are also sold at $150. There are multiple covers as well as incentives and even a second print. All the copies keep selling. Number 4 is Kanan the Last Padawan, number 6. I don't know. I'm not familiar with the character, so. High grade raws have also shot back up to $100. 9.8 went from $266 to $350. And 3 Heir to the Empire, number 1. 50 sales this week. Throne has continued to move books. We're still waiting for him to appear on Soka, but that hasn't sold down to stale sales. I wonder, because I actually have one of the trade, the novels. It's got Dash Rendar in it. Tito, if you're still in the chat, man, what is the name of that book? Because Emperor Throne is in that book. I wonder how those books work anyway.
I imagine they should be, saying they've been. What is it? Disney wants to say that the extended universe doesn't exist, even though they keep borrowing from it to make their stuff.
Right. Because I think Timothy Zahn wrote that book. I was heavy in the Star Wars.
He's the one that created Thrawn.
Yeah. I was heavy in those books for a short time. Got like 5 or 6 of them. Bachelor number 1 is number 2. Plenty out there. Average sale prices also creeping up from $10 to $15 last week. Folks, we don't pretty much talk about, the whole spec game, but if you come across some of these, hold on to them. Because the Taylor Swift end up showing up in this movie, you're going to have a little gold mine on your hands, man. For real. And number 1 is the North Illustrated Swimsuit Edition number 1. 1 in 25, $60 to $75.
Can you imagine the price of these books if she actually do show up as Dazzler in that movie? The Taylor Swift fans will pay out the nose for that.
I'm telling you, man. You had this book, Sean?
Number 1, Dazzler 1, yeah. But I gave it away years ago.
Hey. Say you can buy a house with one now. You don't. She show up in the movie, you buy a house with one.
You find you some in a $1 bin, $2 $5 bin, go ahead and snatch them up. Because if Taylor Swift show up, all hell is gonna break loose.
Man,
Apollo probably sitting on a box right now.
Wait.
Just wait until they said Taylor Swift is officially Dazzler. Oh my God!
Apollo gonna change his. He gonna change his profile picture to the picture from the end of Dave Chappelle. I'm rich, bitch.
Shoot, dog. All right, y'all. So we're gonna move on to the next segment, and we're gonna get into this main event in just a second. So let me get to this right quick. we're gonna go over a few more, a few news stories, then we're gonna hit the main event. So I came across this while on Go Collect, and we've been talking about this. It's kind of funny because we recently started talking about like magazines on the show, and apparently there's a that market of magazines has really started to open up, especially with CGC, of course, great magazines and stuff. So they basically talked about this particular article talked about various like magazines that might be worth more than others. Of course, I mean, you got stuff like Michael Jordan on the cover of Slam, and Nintendo Power with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. One thing that I noticed though, reading another article, was that a lot of magazines now are getting a lot of shine if a particular artist actually either like drew, like for example, of an EGM or Game Pro book. A lot of these books are actually getting shine now if a particular artist drew the cover or had like internal art in the book. So my question to y'all is that, do you all think this particular trend of graded magazines, will it supersede comic books?
I don't think it will supersede comic books, but it is a growing trend. We are seeing a lot more magazines being graded, and comic books is like still like the main bread and butter, but people who are sitting on the gold mine of magazines from the early days, 80s, 70s, and stuff like that, they definitely will start grading more of their magazines, and we're going to see a lot more of them on the census.
Good evening, Dominic. Thank you for joining us, sir. Appreciate you. Chris, what you think?
I don't think they're gonna, like Sean said, I don't think they're gonna overtake comic books. I think it's gonna be one of those things where, the reason we're starting to see artists who did stuff in these magazines get more recognition is because comic books are becoming more mainstream and with pop culture and everything. Because Alex Ross did a bunch of video game magazine covers for stuff. So did Jim Lee. So has I think Scotty Young's done some, and a bunch of J. Scott Campbell. A lot of comic book artists, when they weren't, either before or in between comic books, did work for comic book for video game magazines and other stuff like that. And I think that's why we're starting to see that rise, because people are collecting. It's like all artwork, you want a Van Gogh, so you start collecting the ones that you can afford. And so you might not be able to afford that one comic book with that artist who did some work on it, but you collect other things by that artist. And I think that's what we're seeing.
And then you got the celebrity figures, like that Jordan magazine. It makes me think I should submit that Allen Iverson cover from Slam that I have,
Right.
When he was leading the Sixers to the finals that year. He was MVP,
Isn't he in the Hall of Fame too?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would be all the more reason. I mean, I don't see why not, man. I mean, the trend seems to be moving towards just a lot of stuff, and it's crazy how the hobby has expanded. I mean, I'm pretty sure people have been collecting magazines for a long time, but it seems now it's become more prevalent now. Like when we had that show and we found the Right On magazines and stuff, and it really amazed me the amount of those, the amount that they were actually selling those books for. That just made me think, like, wow, man, like, and could you imagine? Like, I remember Sean was talking about in that particular show where he had that the magazine with Biggie and Puff Daddy on the cover, and now that book is several $100s. And I mean, back then when you bought that book off the shelf, you weren't thinking that
Source magazine with Biggie and the Twin Towers.
Oh man, you can forget that. That is definitely a collector.
$400. Slab is like $5-6.
It's amazing how trends are actually changing in terms of collecting, the collecting hobby, period. Like, you have to ask yourself, what point is it going to be like a cap on what is collected? But right now it doesn't seem that there's a limit on it. So, all right, next news story. Marvel Cinematic Universe might get a major reboot. Versus Screen Geek.
No kidding.
Yeah. And according to this particular article, it appears that this might occur after Avengers Secret Wars. So it says here, the Marvel Cinematic Universe headed toward a highly anticipated crossover event. New film will act as the conclusion of both Phase 6 of the MCU and the ongoing multiverse saga. Surprisingly, however, it could lead to a complete reboot of the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think they need it.
Yeah.
Well, do you think with a reboot that this is a good way to phase out Kevin Feige and bring in some new fresh blood into it, considering that Feige's been there beginning?
Not only that, but I think it's a good way, especially if they're going the multiverse route. It's a new way to actually for them to go back to square one too. Because let's face it, man, you know, if Disney wants to continue to do movies and TV shows, I doubt very seriously if they're gonna let properties like Captain America and Iron Man just sit and not do anything with it. So unless they get Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans in a contract till like they're 80 years old and use CGI on them, I think at some point they're gonna have to come to a reboot.
That's why we got this whole strike going, because of the AI stuff.
Yep. So yeah, I mean, as far as it goes, man, you know, I feel like at some point in time they're gonna have to entertain the thought of rebooting, especially, you know, how we talked about the whole Black Panther situation and stuff. Like I said, there's money in those properties to where I don't feel like they're just gonna let, okay, so we're gonna just retire all these, you know, legacy characters from the MCU, and we're gonna, you know, try to make this head an A-lister. I don't see that, you know. So, and here he comes, man. You need to join the panel, man. I would like to know why you feel like they don't need a reboot, because, you know, we kind of touched on this Wednesday night. Shout out to Larry and the X Factor. I mean, if that's the case, like I said, how are you going to actually continue to do stories with, you know, cats like the Hulk and Iron Man? Because, like I said, at some point in time, these folks going to retire. They're going to leave the MCU. So you're going to have to. Disney's not going to not do a Hulk story just because Mark Ruffalo is no longer doing the Hulk. So how do you propose that they continue to do these stories unless they perform some kind of reboot? That's just me.
Right.
So, all right. Next on the list, haha, CBR. Rumor: Sam Raimi is the top choice director for Avengers Secret Wars. What y'all think about this? I'm not turning it off.
I don't know. He's a great director, and he probably would do a great job on it. But, you know, you're going to get a lot of Raimiism in the film.
Damn.
And you're going to have to, like, really give him creative control and let him do his thing.
It's like, I mean, what are two things guaranteed? You'll see Bruce Campbell and you'll see a Delta 88 if it's a Raimi film.
Yeah.
Those are the only two things you're guaranteed.
And he did a great job on the Spider-Man films, despite the third film being just garbage. A lot of things was against him in that film, but the first two Spider-Man films were very good. So he could definitely do the Avengers and do it in a way that not only is presentable to the superhero audience, but also like still hold true to his cores of how to do movies. But you know, I don't know about doing it at this day and age. Like considering we just came off the whole reboot, it has to be something that he could just take control of and not have to deal with something that he can inject in the past. He might even do an Avengers team that has Doctor Strange leading the way, since he did the Doctor Strange movie.
I mean, it couldn't hurt.
Yeah. Chris?
I think because of how well he did Evil Dead, if they're gonna give Sam Raimi something, give him Midnight Suns, give him the supernatural wing of the Marvel cinematic of the Marvel universe, and let him go crazy with that. Like, let him do supernatural Marvel characters. Give him Ghost Rider and Blade and all those guys, and see what he could do with those. Like, I think he would do amazing with those characters in that setting because he's working within his element. He's working with something that he knows. Like, nothing against the Spider-Man movies that he did, but Sam Raimi does really good horror films. He does that supernatural thing really well. And I think we've seen what he could do with your regular, everyday, in the spotlight superhero comic book character. So if you gave him a character that was within the vein of what he's used to working with, basically combining the those two things together, I think we'd end up with an amazing movie for him. A whole new set of franchises for Marvel that they could look into that could go another 10 years while they're trying to figure out what to do with Captain America and Iron Man and all that.
Yeah, you have a good point. I think the Russos will be a good choice, just based on their body of work with the MCU. Ryan Coogler, for me, he's on the fence. He might do a pretty good job, but yeah, there's some good points, Chris. All right, 2 more, and we are on to our main event. Captain America: Brave New World rumor explains Sam Wilson's MCU absence. And it says here, where's Captain America in the MCU? And it says, to put it simply, he's been benched. President Ross thinks Sam Thomas Captain America is best suited for publicity, while Sam knows he's meant to be in I think it was the spotlight or the forefront or something. In the field. For one, they pushed this movie back before the strike even started. And they changed the name of it because it was supposed to have been like the New World Order. Yeah. At this particular point, is it really? Do y'all think this? And this is my question to the chat too. Being that it's kind of like how many years has it been since Endgame? Like 2-3 years, something like that.
Yeah, something like that.
And Captain what's the name of that show? Falcon and Silver
Falcon and Winter Soldier.
I'm about to say Falcon and Silver Surfer. That's been about a year or 2 as well, right? Yeah, that'd be a good show. I think, man, I don't know, man. It's just, to me, it's just a lot of time that's passed between what happened in Endgame and, doing a new Captain America movie with Sam Wilson. So, I don't know. I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think this movie is going to actually be worth anything when it comes out? Or will they be able to capitalize on the success of the TV show? Or
why are they calling it the Winter Soldier again?
Oh no, this article is just talking about where he made his debut. The name of the movie is called
still
Brave
the
New World.
Though, right? Brave New World?
They changed it. They're calling it Brave New World now instead of the New World Order.
Like I said, I'll just wait and see where it goes.
Right, like Sam's already gonna be controversial because there's so many people who are just like, not my Captain America. I mean, so
I hated that in the Nick Spencer one, man. I felt like that was such a plot point that they kept force feeding in the book. Instead of just letting Sam develop into his own Captain America and not have the whole not my Cap shit. I really don't want to see that in the movie.
But it reflected what was going on in the real world at the time. There were so many people who were angry that Captain America was black all of a sudden. And we're going to see it again when the movie comes out, just like we saw it at the end of Endgame when Steve handed him the shield and when he donned the suit at the end of, Winter Soldier, Falcon and the Winter Soldier. It's going to be one of those movies that makes money for 2 reasons. There's going to be the comic book fans who go see it because they want to see Sam Wilson in his Captain America suit on the big screen because they are a fan of the character. And then 2, it's going to make money because it's going to be controversial, because there's going to be those same people who are going to be like, that's not my Captain America. And they're going to hype it up because it's going to end up trending because of their hate for it. Is how I feel like it's going to go for.
And I see that, but you know, at the end of the day, those people I don't feel like are fans, because at the end of the day, if you are an avid comic book reader, you should know, especially a long-time comic book reader, at one point, both of them had a series together. It's not like that there wasn't any type of hints thrown that Sam Wilson at some point could have been Captain America. And even when they made him Captain America, I know it was a lot of pushback from people that don't read comic books, but it was done in a way to where it made sense. So when you have people, you know, out in the public, you know, talking about not my Captain America, they probably don't own Captain America the first. They probably don't own not one Captain America comic book. So
not even.
Yeah, I just think, man, it's a lot of time that's being like a lapse that's going by that it might take away from the effects of the movie, especially after Falcon and the Winter Soldier has been off. I mean, it's ended for as long as it has been. So, all right. Last article, Gen V trailer. Has anyone seen the Gen V trailer?
Nope.
Right. So that's part of the boys. It's going to be like a little. You haven't? Okay. Well, basically, it's a spinoff, and supposedly he agrees with you, Chris. So essentially, it's supposed to be like kind of like a Generation X type deal with the boys type characters. So it's supposed to be a lot of gratuitous violence and stuff. It's supposed to drop next month. So.
But I thought it was supposed to be like a prequel, like to the actual Boys. It takes place before the Boys series, but like Homelander makes an appearance in the show.
He does, but see what it's kind of like. Okay, the best way you can explain Gen V is supposed to be kind of like the New Mutants of Generation X. It's a school that allows for like teenagers and young adults that took the what is it the V? I think that is the V. Compound V, and they're basically in school trying to learn how to use their powers and stuff. But it's supposed to be just as gory and violent as the original show. So, all right,
they should just stick to making episodes of the Boys and not worry about all this extra tomfoolery.
Yeah, we'll see how it shows up. One last thing. For those who actually are buying Mortal Kombat, apparently some copies got out early. And yeah, we'll make sure everybody knows that, because people probably on YouTube with their copies playing in the story mode and stuff. So you get Mortal Kombat 1? And y'all getting it?
Not me. I'm not going to get it until probably like a year after it's been out. They done dropped all the DLCs and everything.
Yeah, I feel you, Richard. All right, folks. Well, we're done with all of this, so we're about to move on to our final. Well, not our final, but for the bread and butter of our show. We cue everything up here, and let's go. Hold on a quick second, y'all. All right, there it is. All right, here we go.
Infinity mode.
Hold on. Yeah, we going into infinity and beyond. I'm gonna start this off by playing a clip of our last show. And shout out to Rico, because he actually talked about it on the show. Can y'all see it?
You see it?
All right.
Yep.
So here we go.
Yeah, still don't hear it. Yeah, can't hear it.
You can't hear it?
No.
All right, give me a second, y'all. All right, let's try it again. Can y'all hear it?
Nope.
Oh, God. Oh, I know why. Hold on. Good Lord. Hold on, y'all. All right, let me try it again. Can you hear me?
Still don't
Don't
hear
hear
it.
nothing.
Okay. All right. So well, I guess what we'll do, we'll just go on without that. But anyway, just to give everybody a little backstory, on that particular episode, Rico had touched upon the fact that right now you see key books, thanks to Key Collector Comics. You see key books now that are actually considered keys thanks to Key Collector. And for the most part, at some point in time, there was a standard in terms of what is considered a comic book key. Now, for most websites that I went to, the definition of a key was it was an important issue in a particular title's run, right? So that would include the first appearance of a character. It would include the death of a character. It would also include various issues or situations like that character gaining a new power set or something of those lines. Now, as it stands, the key, as we know it, has been relegated to any and everything. Costume change, the first fight between two characters, and like Rico was mentioning, I hate that didn't play. I think it had something to do with my headphones. I didn't think about that from the jump. But, you know, T'Challa wearing a do-rag and, a Black Panther comic book, or him high-fiving another character, and it shows up in a movie. So the whole issue of when is a key not a key comes into play in regards to how we see keys nowadays. Because back in the day, we already knew what certain keys were. First appearance of Wolverine, first appearance of Thor, first appearance of Stormbreaker, those type of things, the death of Jean Grey. But right now we're at an impasse in the comic book collection or comic book hobby where everything is considered a key now, regardless of what it is or who it was. So earlier today, I actually posted a question, and I'm going to pose it to you and Sean, Chris. I posted it on the Comic Hall page on YouTube. And the question is, should there be a limit on what is considered a key comic? If so, what should that limit be? Should it be major events, first appearances, death of a character, new team member, costume change? And I'm going to pose that question to the chat as well. What do you feel like a key comic book should actually consist of?
Let me start with this. A key comic can be whatever you want it to be that pertains to you and you own. Not by what key collectors say or anything. A key issue can be your first appearance or whatnot. It could be a book that has no relevance whatsoever, but to you, it's an important book. It's a key issue to you. And you sought that book out because, to me, it's what you want. It's what I want. If I feel like the first issue of Savage Dragon is a key to me because I love the character enough that I want to have multiple copies of it, then to me, that is an important book for me. I don't think there's really going to be a limit because everything nowadays is based on what happens on these TV shows, what happens on these movies. Iron Man wielding the Infinity Gauntlet in Endgame. Now all of a sudden the issue where he does wield the Infinity Gauntlet is now a hot book. Instead of it being an important book in the story that it was told in. Like if that book was so important, it shouldn't take the movie showing it to say, oh, nah, I need to get that book. It should have been an important moment right from the get. Like a key book, like you have your keys that are important, your first appearances and your little team ups and stuff like that. But to me, and I said this before, but a key issue can be whatever it wants to be that pertains to you. Matt, look at Matt. He's out there hunting those Matt Baker books. A lot of those books aren't keys per se, but they're Matt Baker covers, and they're important to him. They're important to Rico, and they're important to the Black collecting experience because you want to have those books in your collection because the historic value they have. They're expensive books, but they're expensive because of the importance that they have on the context of the artist behind it. They're not the stories could be okay at best, and there's really no first appearances, but because they're good girl cover arts and because they're done by an artist that has a strong background in that good girl cover art history, those are important books to people that they want to have in their collection. I never go based off a key collector because he peddles out a lot of the stuff that just don't make no sense. Remember when the whole COVID hit, and then all of a sudden Key Collector posted that thing, that first appearance of Spider-Man, the Corona villain.
Yeah, I remember that.
And they tried to peddle these worthless books of first appearances of worthless characters that nobody cared about, and try and make those books feel important. Those books ain't important to nobody. But if you knew that character from the past, it may be important to you, but don't try and peddle it on to everybody else saying, oh, this book is important. No, it's not. It ain't important to me. I get books that are important to me. That book may not be a key to you, but it'll be a key to me because I feel like it's important to me. It's relevant to what I want to collect. I don't really care about what's being pumped out there on the top 10 lists and stuff like that because it pertains to who might be an actor portraying the character in the movie and stuff like that. Nah, I just go out there and I look for books that pertains to me. This book might be important to me. I might want it to have it in my collection. It's an important book to me. That's how I always saw it. I don't look at other sources and say, oh, this person's appearance is important. Yeah, it may be important to some people, but it may not be important to me. Go ahead, Chris. Go ahead. Go.
For me, it's like this. The way, like you said, Al, with the way speculation's going and how everybody looks at everything and how everything is a key. As far as that is concerned, in today's world, it's a lot like Syndrome said in The Incredibles. Once everybody's special, nobody will be. If everything's a key, nothing's a key. With the way that they're just throwing stuff out there, it's like, oh, OBO, first appearance of Purple Jacket that he wore for like half a panel for Wolverine or whatever, he smoked a different brand of cigars in this one issue or whatever. Like, that don't make it a key, but because people are throwing that out there, that issues being keys are kind of like becoming like Stan Lee's signature. They're eventually going to mean nothing because everything's going to be a key because everybody who's not really... People who are trying to make money off of comic books are saying everything is a key to make it seem important because they know that the term key issue is a selling point. They know that people are looking for those key issues. The first time Tony Stark donned a certain Iron Man armor, or when did Cap get the round shield, and different things like that, or whatever. But for it, like Sean said, what's a key and what isn't a key is all about personal. It's all about what's a key to you. For you, Al, you're a Godzilla fan, so for you, a key would be your first issue of a Godzilla comic book. But that not necessarily is going to be a key for somebody else because they may not be a fan of that. So it really is a matter of a key comes down to what is your fandom. And within that fandom, what is the key? Like, because my mom's a huge Doctor Who and Star Trek, the original series fan. So, and her Doctor Who, her doctor is Tom Baker. So anything Tom Baker oriented from Doctor Who is a key in that sense to my mom because that's who she first fell in love with Doctor Who was with Tom Baker. And so the same thing happens with comic books. A key is whatever it is that drew you to the comic book world to begin with. It could be issue number 75 of a 200 issue run, but it's a key to you because it's the first issue that you read. You know what I'm saying? It may not be nothing spectacular at all in that issue. Like I said earlier, I'm looking down for Detective Comics 475. It's not considered a key issue by a lot of standards because there's no first appearance of no new characters. Batman don't bust out no new gadgets. There ain't no new villain. He don't put on a new costume. There's no new Batmobile. It's just the only time Jokerfish or the first time Jokerfish are mentioned in Detective comic books, in a Batman comic book. To me, that makes it a key because of the impact of that story across the Batman mythos. That makes it a key to me. And that's really what a key should be to anybody. It's whatever that feeling is that draws it to you. Just like whatever your favorite comic book that you like to collect. If you hunting down that gold foil Piss Pot Pete number 12, good on you. That's your key. That's what it's all about. I think people are exaggerating and blowing out of proportion what a key is because it comes down to just being what it is. A key is what is important to you. Now, how much you willing to pay for that key is also down to you. And as we've shown at the beginning of the show, some people are going to have some outrageously stupid prices for what they consider to be a key comic book. But if it's really a key to you, then you'll put in the work and you'll find it at a decent price and not get shafted just because you're trying not to have FOMO. But then again, if you worried about FOMO, you buying keys for the wrong reason, because then you buying them to flip. You ain't buying them to have, and that's just a whole different story.
And I get job with that. I think my biggest issue with the way things are right now is the fact that, you know, at one point there was a set specific guideline as what is considered a key. And just to piggyback off of what what Sean just said, when I remember that vividly because I remember one of our favorite YouTube comic creators, I'm not going to say his name, but that book was trending on a top 10 chart that he had at that time. And the most amazing thing that I actually was tripping over was the fact that the character Corona, her powers weren't even virus based. I think it had something to do with heat. So you basically have created a key of a book that nobody cared about. And the only thing that person had in common with the virus that was going around was the name. And that's the problem that I said, what now?
And he made a key out of it just for mentioning it.
You made a key out of it, right? Just because that person's name was Corona. And see, that's the problem that I have now with modern day collecting. Now, for me, you touched upon Godzilla. Yeah, the Marvel run of Godzilla, I'm looking to collect that. And I have a couple copies of Godzilla #1. And I mean, outside of my fandom of Godzilla as a character, that is considered a key because it's the first appearance of Godzilla in a Marvel comic. However, I don't feel like if a book comes out, like if they were to say Godzilla is going to show up in the next Secret Wars movie, me personally, and this is coming from a Godzilla fan, I don't feel like the value of that book should go up just because they announced that character in a movie. And it's getting to the point to where with the way keys are set up now, keys are subjective. If there's a particular book that you like, that you're into, and you follow that particular book, then fine. Y'all know my whole they deal with X-Men, Uncanny X-Men. I pretty much have every key issue of X-Men there is, Uncanny X-Men Volume 1, except for some of the earlier issues. But I'm not going to sit here and say that a book like the first appearance of Maggot, if you're familiar with that character, should be heralded as a key that's worth looking at, because for so long that character was under the radar. Now all of a sudden, because you get some kind of announcement from the MCU or Disney, hey, we're going to use Maggot in a movie. Now all of a sudden people are peddling that book for like $40, $50. That's the issue that I have, because at the end of the day, if all these books, and there's thousands upon thousands upon thousands of comic books, we're not even talking about independents, we're talking about Marvel and DC, but just between the two. And at any point, something could have happened in that book that under today's circumstances can call or consider that book to be a key. And it's like, where do you draw the line in terms of the value of a book? Now, you are absolutely right. A book is worth what people are willing to pay for. I get that. But at what point are we going to draw the line and say, no, T'Challa wearing a do-rag, shout out to Rico, T'Challa wearing a D, it is not a key. But again, if he was to show up in a upcoming Marvel project and he happens to be wearing a wave cap or a do-rag, then whatever issue he actually wore that in is not going to become a key. So at what point do we draw the line? That's one of my biggest issues. Where do we draw the line?
I mean, it's. I feel like the line gets blurry because like people don't know. the difference, like, because like I was just looking at my CLZ comic app, looking at what keys I have, like, trying to get an idea. So I'm looking at it, and they break it down. They have 3 key types. They have, no key, minor, and then major. And out of over 5,000 some odd comic books that I have, 5,272 comic books, I have 33 major keys. And that feels like an appropriate number, because not everything's a key. There's only certain stuff. And even then, they break down those keys to like first appearance or first costume or whatever. They break it down from there, but still, like 33 keys out of 5,000 comic books. That feels like an appropriate number to me. Not every comic book is going to be a key. Not every costume change is going to be a key. It's like you said, there used to be a standard for what was a key and what wasn't. First issue, like when I was coming up, first issue, if it was a first issue, that was a key issue. That was it. Everything that came after it, unless something major happened in it, was irrelevant because it wasn't the number one. Things change. Superman 75, technically, yes, is a key, even though it's sold like crap and nobody really cares about it. But it is technically a key because Superman dies, and that is a major point in the comic book character's history. That should be a key. Batman getting his back broken, that should be a key. Wolverine getting the adamantium ripped out of his skin by Magneto, that should be a key. These are major moments in these characters' lives that happened. Those should be keys. Those major moments that the characters were different after it was over with, like, those are keys, man. And that's what should always be keys, really. Like, even though I know, yes, what's important to you is different from what's important to someone else, and what's the key to you is different. But when you could look at it baseline, like across the board, and you can just that plain old question in the comic shop is like, hey, what's a key? And then they go, oh, well, this issue's a key, and they're all number ones, or they're all key moments in the comic book run. Those are keys.
Yeah, I agree with that notion, and like I said, I don't know, and this is a good question, Richard. I don't know. To be honest, I don't know, but I'm gonna tell you like this. I'm the type of collector. Like I said, I've got some keys. I got first runs of just by every major key, minor key from Uncanny X-Men. It doesn't bother me that those books are keys, because as part of my collection, I needed those books because I like to collect runs. Now, for some people, it could be that it might be an ego-driven type thing, because of the simple fact that people nowadays, a lot of people just that's what consumes many, not every comic book collector, but the number of keys that they have in their collection. And I mean, if that's what floats your boat, hey, more power to you. It's your money, it's not mine. But
right.
At the end of the day, and Larry brought up an issue about Maggot. Of course, that's a key. I mean, if he becomes the leader of the X-Men, that's a key. But I don't think that book should be heralded or it's a $30 book just because he becomes the leader of the X-Men. It's just an event that happened in the book, and that's it. I don't get the fact that with a lot of this stuff that happens, and I bring them, me and Matt bring this up all the time, and Chris and Sean, y'all know about it. Robin King. First appearance of that character, man, they conflated that book, $35-$40. DC ain't done nothing with that character since then.
Character went right out the window with that storyline once it got done.
Right. So I mean, and that was the first appearance of the character. And even with the first appearance, he hadn't been around since, and that's been like 2 years ago, a little bit over 2 years.
Yeah.
I think
he didn't do nothing.
No, he hadn't done nothing since then. I think a lot of people just put too much emphasis on the fact that certain things happen. I mean, it's like I said, it's trivial, like the whole situation with T'Challa Rand wearing a do-rag, or Jubilee having a different costume on in a book. And it's like, is that really considered a key just because she has on a new outfit? And if it is considered a key, what type of value are you going to put, not as a personal collector, but as a consumer going into a comic book store saying, hey, can I get X-Men issue 468? And I'm just throwing a number out there. Oh, okay, so that was
Right.
Jubilee's first costume change. So this book is a $15 book. Like, why? And that's my thing.
It was
like,
the same thing with that Spider-Man costume change. What was it, last year before last? It was when Spider-Man got a new costume for like one issue, and everybody inflated the crap out of that comic. It sold out everywhere, and look, he where is it now?
right.
Like-
and like what Chef just said, when Storm changes her hairstyle, if Storm showed up in an X-Men Red book in the next couple of weeks and she got cornrows, is that considered a key? But see, that's how that's what
he went back to the Mohawk,
yeah, they went back. But is that gonna be a key?
probably.
To be honest, I really don't give a damn no more.
Said what, Sean?
I don't give a damn no more about what's considered the key and what's not. I just collect the way I collect. I don't let nobody else influence how I collect.
That's what people should do.
You know, whatever they say is the key.
As you shouldn't.
You know, hey, it's a key. And you know, if I'm aiming for a book in my run, and it's a key book that been inflated by the market, and they make it hard to get, then you know I'm not going to pay the inflated prices. I'll find somebody that's not willing to abide by those inflated prices and say, I'm gonna sell it at a price where it's affordable. And those are the ones I'm gonna buy from. You know,
And see, go ahead, Sean. I'm sorry.
like all this stuff about key. This is like ad nauseum for us because it's been like discussed ever since I joined this crew. I was like, this has always been an issue, and I've always took the approach of I collect what I collect.
Yeah.
And I never go by what anybody else say or be influenced by anybody else. You know, I always look for the deals, and I just collect what I collect and spend my money wisely.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been.
I feel you. And see, Larry, this is personal. This is a personal preference. But again, if Jubilee was to change clothes in a book, would it be considered a key to the point where there is a price increase on this book? Personal preference aside, that shouldn't be an issue. Because at the end of the day, if you look at it, anything at any given point in time, just based on that logic, would be considered a key. That's the way I see it. But again, and then with this right here, if you're an avid Jubilee collector, at the end of the day, you're gonna have that stuff already. We've talked about this several times. It's just like what Sean just said. You buy what you like, you buy what you enjoy. I'm not gonna sit here and say, okay, well, I'm waiting for the price of Jubilee wearing some Chuck Taylors to go up just because she wore Chuck Taylors in a movie. I think that's really dumb for that to happen. And if you are a hardcore comic book collector, whatever you collect, you should already have the majority of what that character entails in the first place. But like I said, for her to be in a comic book, and I said this a couple of weeks ago, she's chewing double mint gum in the comic book, and you see her with a pack of double mint gum in the movie. Does that warrant that comic book that she was chewing double mint gum to raise up in price? And like I said, that's the issue that I personally have with keys, and it seems like it's getting worse. Now, I'm gonna keep collecting the way I want to collect. That's all fine and good, but going back to what I said a while back, it affects those who are new to the comic book game, that's trying to get into the comic book game, and they may have, they may be a fan of Jubilee, but then you come across all these books where certain things have happened to her. when she turned into a vampire. Of course, that's a key, but is that book really worth the price of somebody's $20 book or $30 book?
Man,
That's my point. That's the point that I'm trying to make. So let's see. But see, that's the market though, Chad. If you think about it, there's so many inconsistencies when it comes down to keys within the comic book hobby. And one the major one we bring up all the time is Hulk 180 and Hulk 181. So the market for a lot of this is dictated by the sellers, the influencers, the content creators. I mean, that book is for the longest been 181's been considered the first appearance, even though Wolverine's in the last panel with dialogue. So it's an intriguing topic in terms of how things are going now as opposed to how things used to be. I did too, Chef. I did too.
I think that's also due to the fact that we live in a time where we're a lot more connected now, and so information travels so much faster. And so, beforehand when we was collecting comic books, you didn't know necessarily what was going on until you went to the comic book shop and you talked to other people in the comic book shop who talked to other people at other comic book shops, and that's how word got around and what was going on and what was hot and all that other stuff. And now, people read a preview and they drop all kinds of information and everything, and next thing you know, before a comic book hits the shelf, it's considered a key.
Mm-hmm.
And the comic book ain't out for another 2 months, but it's already a key issue though. Like,
yep.
Yeah, and it's weird.
Yeah, I think it's just it's at a point to where things are being conflated to the point to where they shouldn't be. I use the whole issue with Frogman. That shouldn't have been a book that actually increased in price just because that character was in She-Hulk, which by the way they've greenlit season 2 for She-Hulk. Yeah, but yeah, it's just to me it just tell them.
So I don't know what they're doing over there. Like shows that are getting like Loki's getting season 2, She-Hulk's getting season 2, the Falcon and the Winter Soldier only had 1. Like it's just
that's a whole nother story, man.
Man,
this is stretching the Larry. As Jubilee like to chew bubble gum, and I use that as an analogy. So I doubt Double Mint Gum is gonna give her no power. So. But yeah, I mean, to sum everything up, it just seems like, yeah, I agree, Donnie, and thanks for joining us. It's just, to me, it's just getting crazy because, like I said, anything that could be considered a key can already be considered a key just based on the event that occurred in the book, no matter how major or how minor that particular event was. So it's like the term key is very loosely used now. And it shouldn't be. What your personal preference is, that's fine. What you have in your comic book collection, that's all fine and good. I got a ton of books, man. Ain't worth a quarter. A lot of old Image stuff. I'm not finna sit here and prop up Stormwatch #1 as being a prime key and it's worth $30 or $40 because James Gunn decides that he wants to use Stormwatch in the DCEU. Because for right now, you could probably go to any comic book store and find Stormwatch #1 for about $2-3 or even 50 cents. Yeah, it's a key, but at the end of the day, it shouldn't be worth anything. And again, I'm a fan of that series. It shouldn't be conflated to the point to where you're trying to sell that book and sell people on that book to make them think that that book is worth anything that it is. Because if it was, it would already be a $30 or $40 book.
Exactly. It would already be there.
So What did Apollo say? Throw out buzzwords like, bruh, you missed our you might have missed out. You must be out your damn mind. The majority of books that we looked at had MCU. It had up rare, all kind of stuff, man. But that's the
hard
era
to find,
that we live
rare.
in. So, right, and that's the truth too. It's just like if these books were supposed to be revered as these books, whether they were major, mid, or low, or minor books, they would already have the value attached to it. But they don't. Battlestar, we talk about that dude all the time.
Man, there wasn't a more perfect example. That his book, what was it? His first appearance book got jumped up just because he was on the show, and then he got punked out.
But see, this is the thing with that book, Barbarian. It wasn't. They weren't peddling that book because it was a new villain. They were peddling that book because of her name. Because we were going through the pandemic, and just so happened that the virus was called Corona. So somebody said, "Hey, there's a Spider-Man villain called Corona. Let's see what we can do to get this book up to the $50 to $60." No, before then, nobody cared about that character.
We need to bring back up Charlemagne's name.
Right, Charlemagne. Shout out to Matt.
First and only
point. Right. That's an excellent point, Sean. I mean, come on, like you there's certain things that I feel like, yeah, they're considered keys, but we shouldn't put too much effort into saying, okay, well, yeah, this book should be conflated. And I'm a firm believer of this, and we can end this particular segment and get on to our hauls. I think over a period of time, man, it's gonna come a point, if we continue down the path that we're on, it's gonna be a time where we're gonna see everything. If there's mention, and we're looking at that now. The first appearance of Dazzler, it has not been confirmed that character is going to be in the book, in the movie, Deadpool movie. It's not been confirmed. Cassandra Nova's been in that movie. But if you're a fan of either one of them, you should already have it. And then on the flip side, unless you're a Taylor fan, Taylor Swift fanatic, I'm looking at you, Apollo. Right. You should already have the book, and if you don't, then I can see you not having it. But like I said, it's too much being pumped into the comic book game now for everything. And like I said, I feel sorry for a lot of people that are new to the comic book game. They don't know how to hear what's going on. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's just crazy, because you can go into a comic book store now, and if something's been announced to be part of the MCU, you might be trying to collect a run, and you can't get this one book because it's a $50, $75, $100 book.
Yep. And
it has no value in it except for what's being said is going to happen in the TV show or the movie. Does anyone have anything else?
Looking like Boo Boo the Fool paying out the nose for a book.
Yeah, FOMO. Yeah, it's crazy. Yeah, suckers bought it because Comic Fam said it was a hot book. We talking about that Corona. Not the beer, but the villain in the comic book. Let's see. Chef RD said FOMO book, Spider-Boy, Tosin, ASM Eminem, 8 Mile Van, Spawn 306, Stray Dogs. Yeah.
Man, remember the Stray Dogs craze with all them covers?
I had to stop myself from buying those covers.
Man.
Me too. I had bought like 3 of them, and I'm like, man, they keep churning out these doggone covers, man. It's like, no, I'm done. Let's see. Glad you could join us, Tony's Comics. Usagi and Jimbo 1 is a good book to pick up and watch this fall. Yeah, 9.6 for my birthday. Well, happy belated birthday, sir. I'm glad you got what you wanted. But yeah, man, at the end of the day, man, I just feel like the what we see is gonna be it's gonna get worse before it gets better. You know. Let's see.
Always does.
That may be the case, Larry, but that still doesn't excuse the fact that you can't go and buy a run of a book because of this, that, and the third. Profit hit #1 has been on lists off and on for the past year. I got Profit #1. That book is not worth the paper it's printed on. Profit got worse feet than X-Force because Liefeld did it.
That's saying something.
I'm with you, Max. Say what, Chris?
That's saying a lot. Like, it's worse than because Liefeld drew it like that. Yeah, that's.
I mean, for real, think about it, man. How many times have you seen Profit just thumbing through a dollar pen? And all of a sudden, somebody say, well, they doing a Profit movie, and that book's a $15 book? Really? Come on, dog.
No.
Yo, and I will say this, Chef, that Nice House, I've not read the first two, but that Nice House on the Lake, and from what I understand, they optioned that to be I want to say a TV show. I'm not sure. But if you haven't read it, I read that series. It is good, man. Nice House on the Lake is really good. Really good.
I was thoroughly surprised. Like, I did not see the story that it came up with coming.
Yeah. I think James Tinian wrote that. But if you haven't had an opportunity to read it, man, it's a good book. It's a real good series, man. Yeah, Youngblood 2, I think that's the first appearance of Prophet, if you correct me, Barbarian. Still in 50 Cent bins, but let that news come up that he's going to be in a movie again. And going back to what Apollo said about this option stuff, it's just, to me, I understand a lot of it is due in part to sellers. I get it. But at some point, we have to ask ourselves, like, why is this really happening? What purpose is it, like, benefiting anybody, you know? Yeah, I heard that too, Barbarian. I was late getting into that, man. And by the time I heard that it was a good series, that issue #1 was way above my pay grade for what I was willing to pay. I might end up at one point getting the trade paperback, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's one out, but I've heard it was pretty good. So, anybody got anything else to say?
Nope.
Nah.
Sean is standing 10 toes on this, bro. Yeah, that for some reason I don't get it, Donnie. When Nice House on the Lake #1, it blew up for some reason. I think because they optioned it, like I said, it's either a TV show or a movie. But yeah, I'm glad it prompted that I walked out empty-handed because, you know, that's bread and butter on the Comic Hall crew. But yeah, that book at the end of the day, man, that series, it was a really good read, man. Really good. So Tony says, I have the first Dazzler bought for dirt cheap. Dave, shout out. Is it Dave's comics up in Lawrenceville? Is that the one? If so, yeah. Dave's has got some deals. Like I told you before, man, I think it's 50-50. Of course, you're going to blame the consumer because they dumb enough to buy it. But then, even though people say, well, you can't blame the seller, I think certain sellers should have a level of responsibility. At the end of the day, though, it's up to the consumer to do their research and to make sure that they're not falling into the okie doke. But like I said, even then, you know, for people that are looking to get into a particular series, and it could be based on their interest in the MCU, it kind of, you know, feels like they sometimes may be behind the 8 ball. Now, if they can afford to shell out the cash for that $80 book between $2 issues, then hey, by all means, knock yourself out. Knock yourself out. Funny how certain second appearances hold some value. Yet Deadpool in 9.8 is like $80. You know. That's a comic book game for you, man. It's like rolling the dice. World Series of dice with grits and gravy them. Smash Larry. All right, folks. Well, we are done with this particular segment. And we thank you for the participation in the chat. So we're about to get to the last part of our show. And then we're going to let y'all go. Let's see here. All right, here we go. Chris, I just saw your message, man. My bad. I just saw it. Hey, man, Sean, I'm gonna let you go last, man, since you hit the mother load today, bro.
I'll go next.
Yeah, I
okay.
So,
since Matt ain't in here showing us the
oh man, just wait till you get back.
The Last Supper comic books, huh?
Wait till you get back. You know he's gonna come back with something.
Oh, yeah.
So I picked these up from Daytona Beach Comic Con. Shout out to John Novell. Issues 40 and 41. Static.
Oh wow.
Yep, and this one you got Lost Boys.
Now y'all talk about some books that's hard to get.
There it is.
Static, man. I'm telling you, I'm looking for the try to complete that run. Good pickups, man.
I picked up this Final Boss number 3, and this is a Joe Doyle cover. You know, shout out to Joe Doyle. See him all the time at these shows. So I didn't pick this up when I saw him at Tampa Bay, so I had to grab it, you know, and get him to sign it. So, Thor number 430, Ghost Rider on the cover.
Nice.
These books I got from the Comics Den booth. I got Black Panther 53.
What?
Yep. And 54.
Hey Sean, who was that Black Panther?
One of those vibranium bullets.
That carry guns.
This ain't T'Challa. It was the other character. I know his name was Cole, but this is not T'Challa. I'm trying to get these last couple of issues whenever I see them because they're not easy to find. But when you do see them, you pick them up because they were like lower print issues. 751 of Wonder Woman, Jenny Fisher.
I look like Linda Carter a little bit.
Because she had another cover that had the similar pose, but it's the opposite way. Savage Avengers number 1.
What's going on, guy? Good to see you, man.
Shout out to Stone Cold Steve. Uncanny Avengers number 1, Hip Hop Barry.
Okay.
Public Enemy, Yo Bum Rush the Show.
That's what's
it
up,
says
man.
Yo Bum Rush the Chimichangas.
Hey, Sean.
Nah, I see. And then this was a creator that was at the con, and this book caught my attention. I mean, of course, it catches anybody's attention. And I had to grab it and check it out.
Okay.
Open Action number 1. This is like old school grindhouse style stories. Mature readers. He had a couple of good looking books there, and the interior it's in black and white, and I don't want to show anything because we might get kicked off of YouTube. But the magazine size, nice feel to it, gorgeous cover as always, and you know, me and him chopped it up for a little bit, and you know, I'm definitely liking what he's selling, so I'm gonna definitely check out. So,
hey, show me a couple of pages after we yeah.
No problem, man.
Appreciate it.
And that's it.
That's it.
Yeah, I got other books, but I don't really feel like showing it. And the writer is David Suzello. You know, independent local area person. But if you want to check out his stuff, is Rat House Comics with an X at the end. That's the publisher, Rat House Comics.
Cool. All right, well, I'm finna go through this. I got a couple things. Nothing major, just some pickups. Start with my comic books first. X-Men 26. Shazam number 3. Immortal X-Men 15. Godzilla Rivals number 1. Why this book was $8, I don't know, but I picked it up anyway. New Mutants 32. New Mutants 33. I've been collecting some stuff like games and movies and stuff, and it's a shame I haven't had this on Blu-ray. I've had like a copy of it. I'm not gonna say how I got it, but had to pick it up on Blu-ray.
I just watched that the other day.
Yeah, I got that for like $5 off of eBay.
I really did not know that they thought about Wesley Snipes being Bruce Leroy at one point, originally.
I didn't know that either.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, he grew up to be Blade, so.
Right.
I'm in the Kung Fu movies. I'm a fan of Donnie Yen and Sammo Hung. This is a really good movie. Got some really good fight scenes in it. Called Killzone. Blu-ray. I don't know if y'all remember it. There was some old school. There's a cartoon called Asterix and Obelix, and I've been collecting their games, so I picked this up. This game was on eBay for like $30, and the dude sent me an offer for $5, so I went in and snatched it up. It's still the plastic and everything.
Nice.
But it's an old school cartoon, man. I remember watching it when I was younger. But I got like 3 of the games so far, so I've been collecting a lot of that stuff. And finally, I bought some pops today that were on sale. Fan of anime. So if you're familiar with Naruto and Naruto Universe, you're familiar with the Hokages. This was like $11. Minato Namikaze. And this is supposed to be like a mountain in the Leaf Village. All these are supposed to eat. It's like 7 of them, and all of them are supposed to like connect together. I probably won't take them out the box, but this is Naruto, Dad, Minato, and this is the second Hokage, Tobirama Senju. And this was like $11. And I got one more. The first Hokage, Hashirama Senju. So I don't know why they did Boruto, but you know, these cats are from Naruto Shippuden. So, but there's a total of 7 of them because there's 7 Hokages. So I just issued 4 more.
Nice.
That's it for me.
Said nice.
Yep, I went to GameStop earlier today and paid on my
Cleaned up.
Yeah, I mean, at first I was just gonna get one, and no boy, he rung it up like $11. I mean, how much the other one? So he told me, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and snatch them up. So I have 4 more to get to complete that. I went to GameStop to pay on my Mortal Kombat. For Mortal Kombat, for those that might be interested in picking that game up, if you pre-order the premium edition, which comes with like a Jean-Claude Van Damme skin, did y'all see that trailer?
Yes.
You muted, Sean.
I saw the image, but I didn't see the trailer.
Yeah, it's dope. It's dope. So you get the skin, Jean-Claude Van Damme skin, you get the season 1 pass. So if you pre-order the premium edition, you
Hey,
get.
man, if you're gonna have John Claude, then you know he's doing the splits.
Oh yeah, they got a trailer, man. He
Got
nut
to.
punched. He nut
Got
punched
to.
Johnny Cage like 10 times in the trailer. So, but you get that, and you get the season 1 pass, and you get early access. You get on the 14th because the game released on the 19th, just in case anybody's interested. So, anyway, that's gonna do it for tonight. Anybody got any parting words before we go?
Hope everybody have a good Sunday.
Stay safe in the streets.
Yep.
Sean, you got a show with Vivi next
Dangerous out there.
No. No show next week. We'll be back the following week talking LA Confidential.
week? LA Confidential. I saw part of the video yesterday. I need to finish it up, man. Y'all getting in that
That's
conversation good. Mm-hmm.
That's Boy Scout.
Yep.
Which is like it's like the unofficial sequel to Die Hard and the prequel to Mo Money.
Yep.
all in one.
Yeah, that sounds about right. What you got going on, Chris?
Not a whole lot. Some new episodes of the podcast coming out. Doing some stuff. I gotta find that the unboxings we used to do. They ended up they stopped doing them. They stopped doing the world's finest box with DC because culture for whatever reason. So those are out the window. So I gotta come up with some other stuff to start putting out for other content. But just some new episodes of the podcast and stuff like that.
So for the people watching, okay. So for the people watching, man, where can they find your podcast?
You can find the podcast on Spotify, Apple Music. You're going to want to look up Outcast United, and it's just much like a lot of other stuff. It's unedited, it's raw because we did a couple episodes in the beginning asking fans if they liked it more raw or if they liked us to edit them and so they run all smooth. And they overwhelming support from the fans was that they loved hearing it raw. When our daughter comes in and just walks into the room and just starts talking and hearing us be parents while we're trying to do our comic book thing at the same time, like they like experiencing that real. It's like, this is what it's like to be a comic book fan and be a parent. You got to juggle the two, and you can't always separate them. So we just stick to it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, folks. Go ahead, Sean. Hey man, I'm gonna look that video clip, man. We're gonna have to add that to the repertoire.
Yeah.
For real. I seen one, man, where it was a compilation about 2-3 minutes long where he was just matter of fact, I'm gonna look for that when we get off the air though. Yeah, we're gonna have to add that. Now next week, I don't know if we're gonna be on. I guess that depends. Like I said, Matt is overseas, so he may not be up to doing a live stream. So we'll just have to play it by ear. But we will be back if we're not back next week. But that's pretty much it. So on behalf of Sean, Chris, Remo, Larry, which I don't know why you didn't join us tonight. You could have been on the show tonight, bro, but it's all gravy. Rico and X, we bid you all a good night. Sean need to get some sleep because it looks like he's been about to pass out for like the past hour and a half. So with that being said, we'll see y'all later. Y'all have a good one and have a good night. Peace.